Okay, so I just wanted to upload this video today. I am a bit cut for time in my current schedule, so I'm trying to be as efficient as possible, and I'm going to record it whilst I'm driving home from the gym. So I had a bit of a sort of revelation in a way about an idea, and I just thought it was important enough to share. So it's relating to goals, results, and generally a quest for happiness, fulfilment, meaning, which everyone is sort of usually searching for, even if subconsciously. So the point I come across is there's a common method of this, which is like searching for goals. So I've got a goal, I want a result, and when I get the result I'm going to be happy. That's why I'm doing the stuff I'm doing, to achieve this end result. And what I've found is, if you focus on results and goals, it's beneficial, but it's limited, in that what happens when you achieve the goal, you kind of go back to square one, and you kill your motivation and momentum at that point, unless you start another goal and then start again. But whilst that is good, it's kind of a lumpy sort of progression, if you understand what I'm saying. So the idea I come across was, the reason why aiming for a result is good is because whilst you're aiming for that result, you're in a state of progression and you're in a state of positivity, because you're being productive and heading towards something. So if you can maintain that state of progression, then that would be the goal, not the actual result at the end of it, because the result is kind of arbitrary, and results alone don't make you happy. They're just an end point. It's actually the state of being in progression which gives you a meaning, a fulfillment, and what you would maybe deem as happiness. In other words, if you were aiming to a goal and you're training, let's say for example it's the gym, and you're training every day and you know you're going towards this goal, if someone took a snapshot of your mental well-being at that time, they could quite easily say, like, right, on that snapshot for that second, your mental state was good because you felt positive, you felt like you were looking towards something, and you felt good. You didn't feel guilty, you didn't feel like you were doing bad things and bad routines. You were happy that you were progressing towards something. It's not the goal, it's more the state of progression that you were happy with at that snapshot of time. Whereas if you are sort of in a state of relapse where you're not aiming towards anything, you just live in for the sake of it, you're just doing what you have to do by duty, and you've got no ambition and inspiration, if someone took a snapshot of you there, you'd kind of be like in a lull, like, oh, I'm a bit down, and yeah, I just do what I have to do because I have to. So it's not whether you achieve the goal or not, it's more the snapshot of how you are in the present time, the state of how you are. Now if you achieved a result, you've got to think, straight after you achieve that result, you would be back into the lull, because now you'd be like, right, I've got no purpose, I've got no progression again, so you have to restart. Now if you keep having goals and having to restart every time you have a goal, you're increasing the chances that you might not restart after one of them, and you might fall back into a relapse of sort of like mediocrity, if you know what I mean. So the point is, the goal should be to achieve a perpetual state of progression, where you don't do things because you're aiming towards a result. You do them because that's your identity, that's your routine, that's just what you do. You are in a state of progression at all times. Now you have to have goals for that, but they're not the end result. The goals are just the sort of milestones, if you like, which you achieve as a result of your routine of being in a state of progression. So this obviously comes from like habit development and routine development and things like that. So I would say working on your routine and your habits to achieve a productive state of progression at all times, so that is who you identify with, and that's who you are, and that's what you do, is a better goal than to aim for like an arbitrary result. So some examples are, like, if you wanted to do well in business, or if you wanted to get fit, instead of saying, right, well, I want to achieve that amount of income in business, or instead of saying I want to achieve that weight in fitness, whilst they would be necessary as well. What I'm talking about is taking that away from the emphasis, and instead of saying I want to achieve that weight and then I'll be happy and then I'll have achieved everything, find a routine which will lead you to that anyway, and consider that routine your success and your result. The fact that you are perpetually executing that routine, so your daily state is of progression towards, and then keep that up so it's a habit, so it becomes second nature that you do that, and before you know it, like a year would have passed, you'll have smashed your results and goals anyway, and probably have new ones. But it's not because you aim for the result on its own, it's because you achieved that routine and habit set, and you become happy with doing that habit set, rather than doing it because you want to get to the result, and then you think, when I get to the result I can't wait because then I won't have to do this laborious work. No, that's wrong, because you'll stop the work when you get the result. Get a form of routine where you are actually happy doing the routine that will lead to the result, and focus on that rather than just the result. And a couple of ways to do that is, balance. When you're doing the routine and habits, don't push yourself too much, because then you'll develop a sense of resentment towards the work, and then you could be more likely to relapse out of the routine and progression state. So, and what I mean by that is not push yourself in the end, because sometimes you'll develop into a state where you're pushing yourself and it's not even a problem, but do what's right for the stage you're at. So if you're just developing a routine, start slowly, start small, and then develop that when your routine and habits can cope with it, to a higher state of sort of pushing yourself, if you like. But a lot of people would smash into the routine and habits with too much gusto, and then they would do too much, and then they would resent it, and then they would subconsciously want to stop it. These are the things that will stop you from continuing with the state of progression and getting lumpy with your patterns, like I've gone for this result, I'll do this rubbish hard work until I get it, but then I'm gonna chill, that type of thing, because that's not going to keep you in the state of that you want to be in, which, as I said, is the goal, as much or more than the goal. So hopefully that's useful to some people who might be aiming for a state of mental well-being, meaning, fulfillment, happiness, if you like, and it might be relevant to people who struggle to maintain that. They go for a goal, get it, then feel they're depressed again, or then feel they're relapsing again, and wonder why they can't maintain this success. The key is, you're not trying to maintain success in terms of results, you're trying to maintain a state that leads to successful results, and concentrating on the systems and routines and habits and getting them to be sustainable so that you kind of enjoy doing them and can cope with them every day, and they become habit. That is the focus. So just to finalize, you don't ignore results. You need the results and goals to sort of track and keep milestones, but make sure you're not sort of thinking that they're going to be the answer when you get to them. They're just like monitors to track whether you're in the state of progression. They'll soon go backwards if you fall out of the state. So hopefully that helps some people out there, and yeah, drop me a comment or like if you found that useful. Thanks, bye.